You know, sometimes the internet makes me really depressed, but I think one of the good things about it is the way it has empowered independent game developers. Just Shapes and Beats, Slime Rancher, and Stardew Valley are all amazing games I never would have discovered if I hadn't seen gameplay videos or reviews of them online. And this kind of publicity has allowed developers to get more players without blowing a ton of cash on a marketing plan. So today, I want to use this method to hopefully give one of my new favorite games a boost in players, since I haven't seen it talked about much before. I actually found Sparklite by accident in a way, as I only discovered it during the Christmas sale on the PlayStation Store. But it wasn't long before I realized that I had found a hidden gem. In Sparklite, you play as Ada, a young inventor descended from the ancient philosopher who is destined to reignite the Foundation Stone and stop the Baron from destroying Geodia. I know I just threw a bunch of words at you, but the lore of the game is pretty standard fantasy fare, so just know there's a chosen one, an evil guy, and a magic stone to save the world. You spend the game traveling throughout the different biomes of Geodia with your robot sidekick Wingnut, fighting gremlins along the way and stopping the Baron's titans at the end of each biome. The game's combat system is pretty simple. Use the X button to dash, use the square button for your wrench attack, and you can activate other gadgets that you set to the triangle button, along with widgets that you set to L1. The main combat gadget is the crossbow, and most of the other gadgets are used to unlock treasures and complete puzzles. Widgets are mostly either bombs, health increases, or stat boosts similar to ones you'd see in most action-adventure games. That's really all there is to explain with the gameplay. You run around and beat up enemies, who perform various attacks from simply charging you to throwing projectiles. And this simplicity actually makes the game very satisfying to play. The combat is easy to pick up, and has a high energy pace to it that doesn't feel chaotic or confusing. Finding ways to use your different inventions adds some strategy to the combat that makes it more engaging than if it were just using the same attack over and over again. The top-down 2D environment of the game allows you to manage multiple enemies at once in a way that doesn't make you feel blindsided by a sudden attack from nowhere, but still forces you to keep your senses sharp as monsters swarm you from all sides in tight spaces. And the game world resets each time you respawn, which is explained by the Baron's overuse of Sparklite causing fractures in the ground. You can fight enemies in the overworld, explore the Baron's mines for treasure, or complete puzzles. There's always something to do. It's simple yet addicting, and I really enjoyed just wandering around the biomes and farming Sparklite for monsters. Speaking of, Sparklite is the energy source of Geodia and the way that you upgrade Ada's abilities. You stay at the refuge with other inventors who have started living in the sky because the surface is so unstable. Here you can purchase a variety of upgrades using Sparklite, such as patches that give Ada health and attack boosts, a widget shop that lets you choose one free widget before you head back to the surface, new inventions that let you travel in pipes or breathe underwater, and a monster museum where you can research a specific monster and increase your strength against it. Also, this hippie lady runs a little bird choir, and you can find these birds throughout the overworld and save them from the Baron's pollution. This is more of an achievement hunting feature that's not super necessary, but you can get a patch if you collect a certain number of birds. This variety of upgrades adds an extra layer of strategy to Sparklite that challenges you to work to strengthen your character, and always gives you something to do when exploring the overworld, whether it's collecting Sparklite from enemies or exploring caves and mines for patches. The patch system is easy to understand, but still a creative variation on RPG skill trees, and it lets you equip only what you need rather than forcing you to purchase less useful upgrades to get the one you really want. And I think that's one of the strongest aspects of Sparklite's gameplay, the freedom it gives to the player. You can take as much or as little time as you want in the overworld, and you only have to fight the titans to complete the game. But I found myself really enjoying the exploration aspect of the game, which is pretty surprising since I usually skip side quests or special dungeons to focus on the main story. It has the freedom of an open world game but the direction of a linear adventure game, and the two aspects combine for an enjoyable playing experience that can be customized for each player. Because of this though, your playthrough can range anywhere from a few hours to a few weeks. I completed most of the puzzles and mines in all of the biomes, but I still finished the game in about a week and I haven't really come back to it since then. So you aren't going to get a ton of hours out of Sparklite, and maybe I would have been a little angry about this if I had paid the normal price of $25 instead of $8, but the game seems to be on sale pretty frequently, at least on the PlayStation Store, or you can buy the mobile version for $7. And either way, you can still get a decent week or two of playtime out of it, so $25 isn't too outrageous of a price. While I have spent this whole video talking about Sparklite's strengths, I was a bit disappointed by the game's ending. I don't mean that there was a big plot twist or that it ruined the game, but it just felt kind of rushed and unsatisfying. I'm gonna explain it in more detail now so you can understand, so skip ahead if you don't want to hear spoilers. The final boss of Sparklite is the Baron, who is burning the Sparklite so that it can be more powerful, but this is destroying the world in the process. It's kinda confusing, but it's basically just a fossil fuels allegory. So yeah, our woman in STEM Ada is gonna stop Jeff Bezos once and for all. The Baron even sets the refuge on fire inspired somehow, and now this fight is personal. We beat the Baron up, but he pulls an Omega Flowey on us and turns into a giant Sparklite monster. This boss fight was actually really stressful, and I don't know why. Most of the other Titans have a few basic attacks that you just dodge before running up and hitting them, but I had to get like 3 extra heart patches just to survive this fight. Anyway, after multiple tries, you finally defeat the Baron and revive the Foundation Stone. The world turns back to normal, we get a shot of all of Ada's friends standing happily together on the refuge, and the game ends. I mean, the ending was clear, and I saw what I absolutely needed to, but it just felt a bit unsatisfying. And this criticism is probably going to be the one most based on my personal preference. A lot of people find emotional satisfaction in games through personal achievement and completing all of the challenges, so they don't need to feel connected to the game's world or story to enjoy it. And I still did enjoy Sparklite a lot and had a fun time with it, but this brief ending felt disappointing after spending an hour leveling up Ada just to defeat the Baron. It really rushes you out the door, and it makes the game feel kind of pointless. In general, it reflects a missed potential for Sparklite in my opinion. The art of this game is very charming and appealing, and the character sprites of the refuge have a lot of life to them. It's clear from just one look at the designs that everyone here could have unique personalities that could play off each other in entertaining ways, but the crew of the refuge never interacts with one another. Does a game like Sparklite call for a complex story or deep character development? Not really, and I think from the fast pace of the ending, it's clear that the developers were running out of resources and just needed to get the game finished. But I think if Sparklite could have even incorporated some minor cutscenes between the characters, maybe one after you defeat each Titan, it could have helped the game leave a long-lasting impact on the player. You don't even have to create a big story. You could just give each character a few more lines of dialogue to flesh out their personality. One example of an indie game that does this kind of light storytelling really well is Slime Rancher. As you explore the far, far range, you receive messages left from an explorer named Hobson. At first, they seem like standard tutorial messages, but it's gradually revealed through these notes that Hobson ended up falling in love with someone, and he had to decide whether he would continue his life of adventure or settle down and live a happy life with his partner. Beatrix, the game's protagonist, is presented with the same question concerning her lover, Casey, who is waiting for her back on Earth. It gives the ending of the game an emotional weight and a greater meaning than just, "Good job, you ranched some slimes." Additionally, the various business partners you work with through the ranch exchange have their own personalities and backstories, which you slowly uncover as you complete tasks for them. Slime Rancher is able to convey all of this through some text boxes and 2D images, and it still adds a lot of life and personal investment to the game that has helped produce such dedicated players. I think if Sparklite had done something similar to this, it could have created a stronger reaction in players that would help spawn an online fanbase and make people more passionate about the game, but for now, it's gone somewhat unnoticed. Admittedly, you don't need a story to make an engaging game. Sparklite is still plenty of fun to play, and I'm sure some people were satisfied just by the achievement of completing the game alone. I also wouldn't be surprised if some of the developers' plans to flesh out the world of the game a bit more got scrapped due to time or budget. Either way, Sparklite is an entertaining game with engaging combat and a fun setting, and I hope this review brings some more attention to it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!
Go, go, go.